Hello, welcome to the interview here on France 24. Well, a leading German magazine called him the most dangerous man in the world. And author J.K. Rowling of Harry Potter fame tweeted that he's worse than Voldemort. And in the U.S., Donald Trump's Republican rivals are having some night sweats of their own. They know time is running out to stop him. And if the Republicans do fail, will Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders stand a better chance of terminating the Trump challenge? My guest today is Morris Reid, a longtime political consultant and a veteran U.S. Democratic strategist based in Washington, D.C., of course, and also a partner with Mercury. I want to cut straight to the chase here. Your offices are not that far from the White House. Exactly. You're not that far from Congress. Nothing's that far in Washington from the power nerve centers. What is the buzz in Washington these days as people are watching the shape of this campaign, and especially the more and more Trumpian shape of this campaign?
People are confused and nervous. They're confused because they don't understand how someone like Trump has really become leapfrogged to the head of the crowd. And they're nervous because this could be the unraveling of the political establishment. So it's confused, a little dazed and confused, but mostly confused and nervous.
Dazed and confused. And, you know, we keep hearing on this side of the big pond about how they're trying to come up with a strategy to stop the guy. They've tried Rubio trying to attack him. The last Republican was a little more civil. It seems like they've given up even trying to attack him. You're a strategist. How do you plot strategy against the guy? Everything seems to just rub right off him.
Well, first of all, you have a guy who is not trying to connect the voters in a substantive manner. This is the rise of celebrity manner. This is the rise of celebrity culture. If you look at this, he is purely a celebrity with no substance. I think what you have to do is to really undress him and dress him down. Force him to talk about issues. Force him to talk about substance. And then you have to double down. After the election, after the debate, you have to go on air with sound bites. You have to go online to keep pushing the media. What Donald Trump is able to do is use the media effectively. He's getting more earned media than people are getting in paid media, so you're going to have to use those things wisely. But I believe the best way to beat him is to use his words against him.
You know, his critics say that he has actually used ignorance and demagogy to his advantage. It's become almost a campaign asset. And his followers, it just doesn't seem to matter. Is there anything really, even if he's proven factually incorrect, will his voters really care? I
think maybe they won't care now. In the general election, you would hope that there would be more objectivity brought to the table. But right now, he's really plugged into where popular culture is. There is a lot of anxiety. And there's been, uneven growth. If you look at central cities under Barack Obama, have done very well. But if you get to the suburbs or even to the rural areas, they haven't done as well. So it's really about tapping into really what average Americans are feeling right now.
But we hear this a lot. And, I get people here in France asking me constantly as an American, they say, what's going on there? How is it that the same country that just 4 years ago reelected Black President Barack Obama is now seriously leaning towards the prospect, maybe remote at this point, but the prospect of a Trump presidency? How is that the same country?
Well, listen, a day, an hour in politics is a lifetime. So what you saw under Barack Obama is very different than what you see now. Barack Obama was the answer to George Bush. That's a different equation. Now you have growth, but you got to look at it from a globalization standpoint. So you have people that are disenfranchised or been left behind, and people that are scared about the future. So these working class people who used to work at General Motors, who used to work at Caterpillar, they don't have a job now, and they're worried about the future. And Donald Trump has been able to seize that. He's been able to really embrace them and give them a voice.
And we're told, or he says, he's brought into the voting process, for better or for worse, he says, millions of voters who never really were attracted to voting or politics. Is that true, or is that just a conceit?
Well, I think, first of all, you have to give him and Bernie Sanders credit. They have brought attention. No one is really paying attention to this if it wasn't for Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. So they've got 30, 40 million people tuning in to the debates. The fact that people are coming to vote, a lot of these people are what we call the Reagan Democrats. You see crossover in people that are tapping into this message. They're voting outside of their primaries and those type of things. So I don't think that these are new voters. Maybe these are voters that haven't voted in a while, that didn't feel like the government was representing them. Donald's done a great job. Remember, he's a branding and marketing guy at his core. So he's been able to tap into that. Will that last from primary to general? I'm not for sure.
So you're suggesting that there would be sort of a shift in the tenor, the tone of the campaign once we get to the general. Let's say it's Trump, and let's say it's Trump against Hillary Clinton. A lot of the polls say that. for whatever they're worth. And Hillary Clinton, for better or for worse, there's a lot of negativity he could bring out against her. Do you really see it being an issues campaign, or will he just relentlessly go on the attack and undermine her?
Well, that's his default setting. When he is challenged, if you look at the debates, when he's challenged or when he feels uncomfortable, you can see it in his face, in his demeanor, he goes on the attack. That's his default setting. The difference between a primary and the general is you've got 4 hours of one-on-one debates. You just can't say, well, you know, Mexico's this and China's that. You really have to go into details. This, I believe, will be the undoing of Trump's race, is that he won't have the detail.
Those debates will undo him.
They will undo him. If you look at, historically speaking, debates have had an impact. I believe we live in a culture now that's much more influenced by culture, by TV, by internet. These things will get played over and played over and played over. I believe if he's not prepared to take on 4 hours substantive, real plans, that may be his undoing.
Okay, some might say a little bit of wishful thinking there, but now let's look at the other side of the equation here. Bernie Sanders. There's been in the past month or so sort of this narrative, this close circling of the wagons around Clinton. He's sort of being distanced. Is he back perhaps in the race after what one pundit called one of the most stunning political upsets in modern political history when he pulled off that win in Michigan?
Well, there's two things. Number one, Bernie Sanders has been good for Hillary Clinton. I'm one of these people that think that she starts off very slow. She's not a natural politician. She needs a sparring partner. This is a tough race now. This is good for her going into the general. The second thing is you have to give Bernie Sanders credit, just like Donald Trump. He's tapped into the anxiety on the left. So he's been able to find voters, motivate them, and bring them to the poll. And now he actually has the financial backing, what we call, money and muscle, right? You've got to have machine and muscle to do your thing. He's got money.
He can keep going.
He's going to keep going. I said this would be a death match to the end. I think she will squeak it out. She will be a better candidate for this.
So it's going to be another one of these nail biters. It won't come down to superdelegates this time, right? It would come down to what? Just delegates?
I think it's going to come down to delegates. Superdelegates, delegates, they're all the same. Yeah. I think that she will get the number, but he won't be too far behind. He will have a voice at the convention. He will continue to move. I think he is going to go from being an outside candidate to an actual movement and a power player within the establishment. He's tapped into something similar to what Howard Dean did a long time ago.
Right, similar to what he did. I'm just curious. There's been a dissenting school of thought that says Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump, Trump wins. Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump, that's the only way to have a chance of having the Democrats beat him.
Well, listen, if it's Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Mike Bloomberg may reconsider, because I think that's a race that sort of gets very interesting. I also believe there's a chance that the Republicans could even put up a third party. There is still a chance that they may try to undermine Donald Trump. Here's the real landscape. When you have 2 people on the stage fighting for the leader of the free world, it's very difficult. Bill Clinton said it's the hardest job interview in the world. You have to throw all these things out there. The primaries don't matter. It's a new beginning. Donald Trump is evolving as a candidate. I believe he's getting better on the stump. Will he be at his best by the time the general comes? Maybe. Hillary Clinton is not a natural politician. We always say there's a workhorse and a show horse. She's a workhorse. I believe that she will be able to get in there and fight. But no matter what, the Clintons will always have a difficult time, particularly this Clinton, when it comes to election. It won't be a home run. She will have to fight to the death end if she's going to win. It's not for sure she's going to win. I hope she wins, but it's unclear right now who's going to be the next president of the United States.
A knockdown, kickdown battle. You said, I want to just look at the current president. He's still there for another 10 months, Barack Obama. You said 4 years ago, just after his reelection in an interview, that you don't need really 4 more years of Obama to undo the George W. Bush legacy. You really need 2 decades. Okay, so we're 4 years later. Who do you think would be better positioned to promote and continue Barack Obama's legacy, his initiatives? Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton?
Clearly Hillary Clinton. Clearly, and she's also running as an extension of his campaign, his tenure. It's really interesting. There's an X factor that no one's talking about. That's Barack Obama. He does not like Donald Trump. If you understand, remember, Trump was one of the big people pushing the birthers issues. Now, minority and women voters.
He still questions whether,
right? Minority and women voters will play a significant role in this race, probably maybe the difference maker. There's only one person that can motivate minority and potentially women to over-index 80%, 90%. That's Barack Obama. If there's one thing that he would like to do before he leaves the White House is stick it to Donald Trump, I think he may be the X factor in this election.
But he and Hillary Clinton, despite her tenure as Secretary of State, have not always seen eye to eye on a lot of issues. Obviously, the Iraq War was one of their big showdown issues. But at the end of the day, he'll be ready to embrace her.
Well, there's one thing for certain. Barack Obama and his team will tell you that Bill Clinton played a significant role in him getting back in the White House. Some of us will say a deal was cut that Barack is going to support Hillary when she runs. I think that he'll be enthusiastically behind whoever the nominee is, particularly if they're fighting against Donald Trump.
Morris, I just want to ask you the sense of, if it gets to the convention, there's a sense the Republicans are more ready perhaps to just divide themselves, divide the party, even at the risk of losing the election, than seeing Donald Trump president.
Well, Trump is very dangerous for the party because he really unravels the party. The only way he won't be on the ballot, quite frankly, is if he loses. If he wins, you will see them trying to maybe engineer something at the convention. He'll run as a third party. If he wins, I believe you'll see them maybe put someone on the ballot as a third party as well. I believe he does more damage to the Republican Party than actually voting for Hillary Clinton because he really unravels the institution. So you'll see a lot of movements around this at the convention and also